Okay, today we're going to talk about Wildland packs, and I'm going to show you the way I pack mine. May not have everything you should have. I think it's a pretty good start. It's the basics. Before I go into it, of course, we always go into the woods with a tool. This is a fire rake. This is a combi tool. I think for most of our wildland fires, this fire rake is probably good to have. If you're working on slopes where you got a trench, this is probably a good tool for at least one person in your crew to have. Make quick work of trenching. Okay, I've got a GSA fire pack. That's my volunteer pack. It's the same one the North Carolina bridge crews use. It's real lightweight and simple. Fire shelter is here. It's inside this case. I got it set up to pull using my right hand. I can pull that out. So when I want to deploy this shelter, I reach back with my right hand and grab that, pull, keep pulling, and that shelter will come out. Okay, not going to go into shelter use. That's something you need to pick up at training at the fire department, or if you go through S-130. So PPE, leather boots, should have Vibram soles preferred. And if your fire department ain't buying them for you, just get some kind of leather boots. Just keep in mind that if you get into some working around in hot coals and stuff, the bottom of your boots might fall off unless they're Vibram soled. So keep that in mind. Nomex pants, and I've got a leather belt I like to use with it, and a Nomex shirt. And in this shirt, I'll keep notebooks and pencils, like my IRPG and my EMS book, compass. Usually I'll keep that stuff in a pocket in here, so I always have it. Wildland helmet, and I've got goggles on here. During the daytime, I don't worry about it, but I keep you need a light, a headlamp for working in the woods at night, especially if you're not near the fire. If you're near the fire, you don't need to use it so much. Okay, now I keep my neck and face protector. This is Nomex, and it attaches on the inside of the helmet, so that'll wrap around your neck and Velcro together. So if you get into some really hot fire behavior and you're having to work close to it, you can put that on. And then here for Broad River, I keep one of my accountability tags Velcroed underneath. Okay. And then leather gloves. If you're working in the woods, leather gloves. If you fall down and you fall in hot coals, you won't burn your hand. If you're cold lining, where you're working on clearing out all the hot spots along the fire line, you need leather gloves to pack dirt on embers and up into burning holes and stumps and trees. You need leather gloves. Okay, now this is all stuff that's in my pack or it's on me. So I'll just work from the top left and kind of go around. This is just a little pack I keep with some. There's fire wipes and cough drops, a little bit of medicine in there like aspirin. There's an N95 mask if I need it. My protective eyeglasses if I don't want to wear the goggles. Really good at night if you're working around in brush at night. Nice to have those clear glasses. Compass. I'm an EMT. I like to keep a patient notebook with me, and I can also use that to just record notes on if I need to. IRPG, pencils. I don't like to carry pens. I like pencils. And there's a little trick if you want to have some duct tape with you all the time, wrap some around one of your pencils. Okay, so I've got 2 radios here, spare battery for each. I keep these in the pack, and these are I usually have them in a chest harness, but you don't want to drop those. You need to put them in a chest pack or have them secured somehow, because if you're working, they're going to fall off and you're going to lose it. This one's VHF, and this one's my 7800 radio for the county system. The VHF one I need if I want to hear or talk to the crews that are working in the Forest Service. The North Carolina Forest Service generally uses VHF frequencies, high band VHF. For example, we're in D1, and they'll use D1 TAC 1 or D1 TAC 2. It's a tactical, talk around or direct channel. So it's nice to have, especially if you're an officer. Signaling, some kind of signaling stuff here. I've got a mirror if I needed to signal daylight to an aircraft to get my position. That's a signaling mirror. Left over from my military days. Spare headlamp. That is probably the thing that has been the most useful, is my spare headlamp, and not for me, but for other people. You not believe how many people go into the woods at night without a damn light. Bring your headlamp with you, for God's sake. Flagging tape. That is for marking different things. You could be marking a line that you want raked. You might be walking a whole line with somebody and you're marking where you want a line built. You could be marking an escape route for your crew. You could be marking a bee, a yellow jacket nest, a killer tree. Any of that stuff you can mark and then write a note on it. So if somebody sees it, they know what it's for. And I keep a bunch of non-perishable, long-term storage foods, because I don't count on anybody bringing me food for hours when we have a brush fire. You might be working up on that line or be separated for hours. And if you missed a meal, that's hard. Working hard, not having food and water. And then I like Nalgene bottles. I trade out the water in it every few weeks when we have fire weather. The fire weather is bad. You don't have to use those bottles like that. You can just have regular throwaway water bottles. Just keep a couple in your pack to start with. No sense going in the woods with that fire pack and you don't have any water in it. Put a couple water bottles in it. First, I keep a first aid pack just in a Ziploc baggie. The scissors I keep on the outside pocket so I can get to cut off somebody's clothing real quick if I needed. Tourniquet. This first aid pack is mainly for major bleeding stuff. I do have ibuprofen, Benadryl, and I do have a couple of doses of epinephrine in here. So most of this is allergic reaction and stop bleeding. I got a couple of hand warmer packets here. This is just a little military sundry pack. It's got matches, toilet paper, hot sauce. It's pretty cool. Don't go in the woods without toilet paper. Spare gloves, just spare little thin leather work gloves, spare shoelaces. Sucks when you're out in the woods and you break a shoelace. Those ones are, if those get real hot, you get into some working around a lot of hot stuff, those can melt and break. Have a spare set. I like to keep, especially in the fall fire season, fall, spring, is just some normal winter gloves and a wool hat. And I've got a sweater here. This is not wool, but you know, if I'm cold and I need something to wear, I got this and this to add under my Nomex. And then I keep an old structural Nomex hood for cold weather mainly. That's why I have that. I'm not doing it because I expect to get into fire behavior that requires this. You're working too close to a fire if you got to wear that to keep the heat off you. This is just a handkerchief, cotton, and then I got 2 pairs of spare socks. So if you're neat, you can pack all this in there nice, and I think this is probably going to, you know, without the PPE clothing here, this is probably about 15 to 20 pounds. And then maybe another 5 pounds on the shelter. Okay. So, yeah. Now my next video I'm going to do is I'll do the same layout, but for my 24-hour SAR pack. So for search and rescue. And what I am hoping to show is that if you have a Wildland pack, you can use that for search and rescue for your 24-hour pack. All you got to do is pop out that fire shelter and either put clothing in there or your food. A lot of this stuff right here you need for search and rescue. A lot of it's the same stuff.